Hi, and welcome to Fuzzy Dragons, and today is a video for the Art, which group is this? The Art Addict Alliance group on Discord. I'll put all the information down below. Now this should have been up on Friday, but I've been busy with shit, and I didn't have time to do this, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. I've been trying to get a portrait done, I've been trying to get some other shit done, and I've got like so many projects on the run, I need to focus on one thing. But anyway,
yes,
so,
you can't.
no, I can't.
This was meant to be a strawberry, but it ended up being an apple.
Yeah, so it's like, screw it, I'll make it an apple. So I've got an idea actually to make this an apple in a design, but it doesn't matter. I'll talk about that in a sec. But, so, this is done in a DaVinci designer, which is, so this is version
Affinity designer.
Affinity designer, version 2.1 technically. No wait, no, this, yeah, it is 2.1 because they updated it the other day.
It's a new one, yeah.
Now it's good for vector work. I like it. It's kind of like, it's not free, but it is a cheap way to do vector work. The free would be Inkscape, which, no, is it Inkscape? Yeah. Which I haven't used yet. I've got it installed on here, but I'm gonna try that, so maybe compare the two. But the other thing I don't think DaVinci does, if it's not DaVinci Designer does, is it doesn't do what you can do, like I don't even know exactly what it's called on photo in Illustrator, where you can take a photo and it just kind of breaks down the color shapes and the lines and stuff automatically. This doesn't do that, I don't think. There have been calls people wanted to do it, and I can't remember what it's called, so, but it pretty much does everything that Illustrator does, maybe slightly backwards, but really, honestly, it takes nothing to learn it. It's honestly, once you learn it, there's really no difference between this and Illustrator, and while it's not free, it's a one-off payment rather than you're paying so much a month. So, you know, hey, it's good to use. No complaints about it so far. I really have no complaints about it so far. And you can get different brushes and stuff for that. I've got a few different brushes. I think I have a marker one for this, or is it for the photo one? I think it's for both actually, which is quite cool. But yeah, so this one now, there's probably a much easier way to do this, and I do this still in Illustrator, whether or not you cause an outline, you fill in the back, and then you put colors on top of it. Now, you could just fill the space, but then you couldn't put stuff on top of it, like color on top of it. But so I do it this way. It's slightly longer, but I'm used to doing it, so it's not really any longer for me to do it this way, and it works for me. I actually quite like the effect. I used to do quite a bit of vector work, but for some reason I stopped. I'm not sure why. Because I think because I wanted to do more painterly effects digitally. But I do like the vector look, like this. It's kind of like a cross between, like, you know, it's probably like 60s, 70s work and like work now. So it's not realistic at all, but I like the work. You can tell what it is, and that's really, I guess, all that matters. It looks like an apple. It actually looks like it does look like an apple. Even more so when I add the stem on later. You know, I could have actually put like a leaf, like some apples have leaves. Excuse me, leaves on there. That was a burp, because what am I drinking right now? This is, what is this? This is some cheap energy, razor wire energy, sweet lemonade, naturally flavored, new tropical.
Can I get a
pick feel? Yeah, it's very lemony. It's not quite lemon, like, you know, cleaner, but
how the hell are you not reading the ingredients? I can just read.
He's got his glasses on. Oh yeah, you probably can't drink that.
Hell, it's like 2-point text.
But yeah, it is kind of lemony, but not like, you know, quite lemon. Anyway, we're not talking about the drink. We're talking about this. So yeah, see, I have a stem. Now, I kind of mess with, yeah, it's not something you would like. But, yeah, so, increased focus. So it's increased focus. Bullshit. It's an energy drink. It's an energy drink. You're not gonna focus drinking an energy drink. But, yeah, so at the stem, mess with it. It's a little skinny there, so I might fix that.
You would, because you got ADHD.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. Because I can drink caffeine at, like, you know, before bed and be like, knockout, right? But, the meds help, but they're not the higher. Anyway, see, ADHD, even I have taken them, it's kind of all, not quite all over the place, but yeah, so like I was saying before, this is a good substitute for Illustrator if you've got 50, 60 quid. I'm not 100% sure how much it costs at the moment. I got these all in a bundle, photo designer and one that's their,
90 quid or something, wasn't it?
It was 90 quid at the time for, it was on sale, the photo designer and, what's their, knockoff? Publisher, yeah.
Not knockoff.
Well, no, it's supposed to be, oh, I can't remember now. But it works as well. So you can do, you know, it's not everything that you can get with Adobe, but pretty much. I've got a whole list. Actually, see if I can find the link to the list where it's got all the stuff that's equivalent to Photoshop, so you don't have to pay for Photoshop. Hey, if you like, Adobe products, fine, great, but not everybody can afford to use Adobe
Shops
plans.
now use that because they don't want to keep paying out.
Exactly. They use stuff like this, like and the whole use Adobe products because they're industry standards. I hate that freaking word.
Inkscape is industry standard.
Exactly.
Because,
so is Blender.
Yeah, well, because Blender came from the industry because people didn't like the proprietary tools that were out there, didn't do the job they wanted, so they wrote their own, and that's where Blender's come from. Because people said, all the tools I had didn't do what I wanted.
Exactly.
So fuck it, let's write our own that actually does exactly what we want, and then they just release it as open source. Because so like, this is too handy, and it teach a lot of student stuff that would allow them to come in the industry running, rather than someone trying to teach them how to do X, Y, Z, if they have access to it. So this is why they released open source, because it makes sense.
But that's what I'm doing next month, probably middle of next month, doing Blender stuff. So you might get some videos of me learning how to use Blender, and I'll probably be either really bad at it, because I've never used Blender before.
Well, that's part of it.
It's part of it, yeah. So that's what I'm doing next, probably said middle of the month, probably do some Blender stuff. I want to do another half for this. So I'm going to do an apple, like when you cut them open, so that I can like create like a tiled pattern to put on like, shirts or anything really, because this apple actually looks kind of neat on a shirt. Actually, I didn't think it would, but it does look actually quite neat on a shirt or a notebook. It's just a random apple. It looks quite neat. I think it's because the colors are actually quite striking. Is not the word. I don't really know if striking is the word or not. Very well could be. But so yeah, a lot of zooming in and out and stuff. Now I could technically do this with my pen, like the tablet pen, but then I have to put on the hotkeys on the pen, and my hands just keep hitting the keys constantly, so they're turned off at the moment. But yeah, I just did this on my tablet because it's easier to see, and when I've got two screens, I can look at the reference photo and work on my tablet, whether it's this. Even though it's vector, you still look at a photo to see if you're making sure stuff in the right place. But the photo I just got off of Unsplash because I've got all kinds of reference photos of anything and everything except for food, because there's like, screw it, it's food. I can look on Unsplash, or there's all kinds of free, for food. I'm not sure about using free reference photos for food, because they don't tend to always look like what they look with their, like a copy of the photo in the end, because it's vector images usually. Now for stuff like horses and people and stuff like that, not too keen on Unsplash, because not everything on there is. There are some people that put their photos on there, but not everything on there is technically supposed to be free. It's probably been taken from somewhere else. But, it's for somebody else to notice, because I don't know all the photos and stuff. But I put another like highlight on the other side because it looked like it needed it. It was just kind of like it looks like it needed it, and I just kind of toned it down. It's not quite white. I'm having a lisp at the moment. But yeah, so short thing is, wrap everything up, this is a good program to use if you have, like I said, 50, 60 quid, whatever the hell it costs at the moment. And it updates every once in a while. So it automatically, when you open it and see if it's got updates and stuff, it automatically tells you if there's an update. And you can update probably till, I think it's version 3 probably. But we're on 2.1 at the moment, so it's going to take a bit,
Well, one was out for several years.
Yeah, it was out for several years.
4 or 5 years before.
And they were always, like, updating it, not just, like, any bugs or anything, any suggestions that people had.
Security updates coming for one for a while, because they're still quite big in install base.
Yeah.
The next one you should do is one done in Inkscape.
Inkscape, yeah, I should do one in Inkscape.
Free. It's totally free, so there are people out there who watch you probably don't want to, even 50, 60,
maybe I'll do that.
in this current economic climate.
Yeah.
And Inkscape is industry standard.
Yeah, I'll open it up. I'm not sure if it's on the new computer. I'll see if it is.
Well, if not, just download the latest version.
Yeah.
Trace bitmaps, something you should try.
Yeah.
Because like if you use some of your line art, if you put trace bitmap, it will vectorize it.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done with some of the AI art I did.
Oh, okay.
It's not perfect, but it does work.
It does work, but yeah. So I've got a lot of programs to try, but. Yeah, I was trying to thought there. But yeah, if you don't like, if you can't afford Adobe products or other alternatives, they either sort of free or a bit of money, So, but I haven't painted in this version like photo, but I didn't really paint in Photoshop either. I used other stuff because there are programs for painting. But I could try, I guess, painting in the photo thing, see if that works for me. But I've got other programs that I'm used to painting, like Painter, Clip Studio, and a couple other ones. But yeah, so I have nothing else to say. I have run out of things to say. Just this is a good program to use, good alternative to Illustrator. It's isn't free, but not horribly expensive. You're not paying every month for it. Oh, I know what I was saying before. The updates. They don't just update like security bugs and stuff like that, or any kind of bugs. They do sometimes take in consideration suggestions people have given them on like their forums. So they will either add them either in like the next big updates, or add them in like the middle of the the middle of the 2 version or first version or something like that. They did that. So they do listen to people that are using the program, because that's who pays the bills, the people that actually use the program, and then they know what people want from the program. They added a bunch of stuff to this version. I haven't explored all of it yet, but they have listened to what people have said in the past, which is good. Adobe, on the other hand, do they listen to people? Sometimes, but on the whole, usually not. But big companies like that, they just like don't give a shit usually at least. But now I'm just messing with things just to see if
they take a suggestion and then they bill your ass for it.
Yeah, exactly. They take the suggestion and they'll still bill you for it. But he's having problems with the computers. That's why he's muttering under his breath.
Fucking cursing Windows 11.
You can't get them to connect. So
yeah, I have all the permissions set, and it's just being stupid to annoy you.
Yeah, so now I just put everything together, grouped it all together, so that everything was grouped together, so I could export it in one image, the PNG image, and that's what I did. And now I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just randomly wiggling the mouse around, because my hand shakes a bit, so I'm kind of like, the mouse is shaking around. So I don't know why I haven't edited this out. Maybe because I didn't notice. Probably because I didn't notice. But it's going to gray, so I could edit this, but I'm not going to edit it. It's going to gray, and then eventually, now he's getting frustrated at the computers. But this is a finished. It's a nice. It's a nice apple. It's a very simple apple. And so I am done with me rambling about stuff. He's complaining about computer stuff, rightly so, because it's driving.
Complaining, but also fucking Reddit. I wish they would fix the thing on Firefox.
Reddit crash again?
No, it's not crash. It doesn't work with Firefox properly.
Well, I don't use Reddit a lot, so
fucking annoying.
But yeah. So thanks for listening to ramble about the program and apples and
hear me curse about this.
Yeah, and so like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave a comment if you want. It's always nice when people do. And I'll be back sometime during the week, maybe with the other half of this apple, like the midsection cut of the apple, either done in this or done in Inkscape, one or the other. And yeah, so I guess that's all I have to say. Okay, bye.